Hello, good day. My name is Joseph Atta. I'm speaking to you live from Ghana, West Africa. Welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth, which refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ. I attend Church of Christ. The page has two purposes as follows. 1, to share the word. John 1 verse 1 and Genesis 1 verse 1. 2, to share the truth. John 8:32, John 17:17, John 14 verse 6. I welcome all my viewers. This is the first time of recording a sermon. Please subscribe to my channel. I need more than 100 subscribers. So between 100 and then 1,000. So please share the channel to many groups so that they can subscribe. Today is my first sermon and the title is Are You Righteous? Are You Righteous? 2 Samuel 12 verse 5. But before then, the story revolves around a womanizer king, David, the second king of Israel. Now, when you go to 2 Samuel 11 verse 1 to 18, now the story is that David raped Bathsheba and killed the husband Uriah through Joab. Now, if you go to 2 Samuel 11 verse 27, when Bathsheba heard that the husband had died, she mourned, she grieved a lot, and afterward David married her and then she gave birth to King Solomon. So if you come to 2 Samuel 12 verse 1 to 4, God was angry with David. That's when we begin from the 11 verse 27. So he sent Nathan to David. Now, when Nathan approached David, he used the parable that two men lived. One was rich, one was poor. The rich man had flocks and herds. And then the poor man had only one ewe. One ewe. When the rich man had a visitor, instead of killing any animal from his head and then the flocks or the flock, he killed the only one ewe from the poor man. Now the Bible is saying that the poor man treated the ewe as his own personal pet, and then the rich man killed the ewe. Now let's go to verse 5 of 2 Samuel 12. I read, Then David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, As the Lord lives, the man who has done this deserves to die. At verse 6, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this sin, and because he had no pity. Now, let's emphasize on the verse 5. Then David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, as the Lord lives, the man who has done this deserves to die. So I'm asking a question. Are you righteous? David had killed, raped, and covered. And now, when he heard the story of some people, he became a judge. Most judges are themselves sinners as well. So we are saying that David was an impatient person who saw himself holier and righteous than anyone. He was impatient. See how he passed the judgment. David was the epitome of the crucify him personality. Crucify him, he wouldn't even wait. When the Pilate was waiting to interrogate Jesus Christ, the audience said, crucify him. And the same as David, crucify him. He concluded hypocritically. That's why he was angry. If he had vetted his own life, if he had examined his own life, he wouldn't have concluded hypocritical. So David was a hypocrite. He was at fault, but failed to recognize it. That's the story we read from 2 Samuel chapter 1, 12 verse 1 to 6. He was at fault. He refused to recognize his own fault. He never knew he was the main convict. So 2 Samuel 12 verse 7. Let's see what Nathan said to David. Nathan said to David, "You are the man. You are the man." He pointed to him straight. "You are the man. Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel. I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you out of the hand of Saul." David was the man. He was a convict, so he was proved to be guilty. Now let's go to Matthew chapter 7, verse 5, and then Luke 6, verse 32. We will need them to analyze the story of David. Are you righteous? Are you righteous? You hypocrites. Matthew 7 verse 5. You hypocrites, first remove the beam from your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Sorry. Luke 6 verse 42. Oh, how can you say to your brother, "Brother, let me remove the speck that is in your eye," when you yourself do not behold the plank that is in your own eye? So it's a question. Are you righteous? I'm going to exegete Matthew 7 verse 5, Luke 6 verse 42, and you see that it has a direct linkage to the story of David, as we read from 2 Samuel 12 verse 1 to 7. We are trying to exegete in the New Testament. I mean Matthew 7 verse 5, Luke 6 verse 42. The verse emphasizes the relevance of self-awareness and humility before trying to help others. You must be self-aware and be humble before you try to correct your friend. David was not humble, and he wasn't self-aware. That's why he was angry. How do you tackle the issues of your church members? How do you tackle the issues of offenders? Are you proud and arrogant, or you are self-aware and humble? Before correcting or judging others for their faults, we must first examine ourselves and deal with our own flaws and shortcomings. Before correcting or judging others for their faults, we must first examine ourselves and deal with our flaws and shortcomings. So you see, before you sit to vet, before you sit down to criticize, to settle a dispute, or to correct someone in the church or anywhere, first of all, examine yourself. Your own, when we say flaw, we mean imperfection. When you go to engineering, we mean a defect. And shortcomings. You may have the same issue in your home, in which you have not been able to solve it. Now, if you have the same issue in your home, which has been unresolved, how can you see clearly? How can you then have experience to correct your brother or your sister in the same problem? It is a call to self-concept. Examine yourself. Humility and honesty. Are you honest? Are you honest? Are you honest? Now, you can assume that a brother, sister has fornicated, and you are in this panel to settle the dispute, and see the way you are throwing bombs against this person. And I'm asking you that, are you honest, you yourself? Don't you have this issue in your home? Or haven't you offended before? By addressing our own plank, when we say plank in the Bible, we mean larger issues, we will then be offloaded. You see, when you deal with your own larger issues, you are offloaded. Your burdens, your troubles are gone. Your conscience now becomes pure and free. Become better when you offload. you become better equipped to help others with their specs. The spec is making reference to small issues or smaller issues. So yours is bigger than what you are dealing now. Your issue in the home is far worse than what you are in there to settle. The plank is a hyperbole, and I suppose you understand the meaning of hyperbole. Of course, it is a figure of speech, which means magnification or exaggeration. So the plank is hyperbole to denote a large timber, and spec depicts minor faults, small faults. Yours is bigger than your brother's. Yours is so larger. Why have you refused to address it? And rather, you are now crucifying your brother. Mr. Righteous, if you are in this state as David, you are hypocrites. Even in the court or at the court, when the judge quotes a punishment, he quotes the law. For example, article this and that. Do you use the Bible to settle issues, or you settle from your own carnal interest, your own personal interest? Ideally, you must use the Bible to settle the brother's issue or the sister's issue than using your own mind to judge. Do you quote the Bible to settle dispute, or you are carnal, therefore based on resentment? Some settle issues based on resentment, and resentment means next bitter grudge. Maybe the person has an issue with you so many years ago, and now you are in his chamber, so he is now going to bring history back. Quote the Bible, understand it, use it to settle the issue. A conclusion. The verse suggests that people must approach others with humility, grace, rather than judgment and condemnation. David condemned. David judged and condemned. Do you also judge your brother? Are you God to judge? Why should you judge your brother? We are sinners. None is righteous. Romans 3 verse 23 is saying that for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. We are all sinners. Everyone is a sinner. So why are you pretending to be righteous to judge your brother? The wise and knowledgeable must be a better person in terms of conversation. If you go to James 3 verse 18, you will see what I just said there. That the person who is wise among you should display some kind of wisdom than judging from carnal interests. So James 3 verse 18, who is a wise and understanding man among you? Let him show by good behavior his works in meekness and wisdom. Show humility when you are condemning your brother. James highlights, or the text highlights, living good life, humility, and demonstrating wisdom in one's behavior. Wisdom is known through actions. We will know this through actions. David wasn't wise. What he did shows that he wasn't using wisdom. Humility becomes the key and an exemplary life. Humility teaches that none is perfect and none knows everything. David was proud and arrogant, and so you are in the church or wherever you are, to judge and condemn people as if you are the only person who is righteous. On that note, my name is Joseph Atta. Next time I'll meet you again with more teachings and sermons. But please subscribe, because when I don't get more than 100 subscribers, I cannot preach more than 50 minutes. Thank you so much.